think we're going to see this as this working from home thing internationally as an ongoing element? And how do businesses and corporates manage to maintain culture when half the staff in many cases haven't even met each other?
It's quite interesting. It's an interesting dynamic because I think we've all come to appreciate that culture in an organization ultimately is almost the life source of any organization. Doesn't matter how amazing your technology is, your processes, your people are, the infrastructure you have available to you. But culture is almost like the central meeting point and the melting pot of who you are, how you choose to operate in the world of business, what your goals are as an organization, and ultimately even the impact you hope to make internally, but also on the external world. So culture is the blueprint that organizations try and reinforce with their people on the inside, because they want you and I, as the customers on the outside, to feel the value and the impact of that. Working remotely means that connectedness, that central melting pot, is far more complex to not only create together to reinforce, but also far more difficult to embed, because you're now trying to mesh it across different environments without the personal human touch. You are also trying to do it in many instances, particularly over the last 18 months, with individuals, personalities, egos, socialization, lived experiences of people who haven't actually physically ever met each other. So they don't quite know how to vibe, how to share energy with each other, share space with one another, even listen to each other in many instances. So it's becoming more difficult. But I think what it perhaps puts at the forefront for most of our organizations at the moment is that if you didn't have culture at the center, these hybrid formats of working and using space force you to put a very significant amount of time, effort, and energy into reinforcing the company culture. But it also forces you to invest in the infrastructure, as it were, of ensuring you can maintain that culture. So if you've previously been bad at communicating everything from your values to the need for meetings, agendas, targets, strategy, this is going to force you to do that. And those are all sort of your building blocks of culture. It's going to force you to really look at, have you made it easy for people to connect from their remote locations? It's also going to have to make us organized. And whilst we're all in different locations and we've provided technology, cameras, etc., for people to try and work together, it's really also going to force a situation whereby we really look at what does teamwork mean to us, and how do we make sure that the ability of people to not just be productive, but also to share in the connectedness of being human in order for us to deliver to the outside world is something that within our company-wide initiatives that we keep working on, refining, getting input on, but also making sure that it's something that's comfortable and is able to work. So it's, they say change is an inside job. And I think, the big infrastructure change, around us going to hybrid was probably the easy part. But the harder parts are going to be really fully understanding how we create community, capability, and capacity in our organizations in a very, very different world.